kind of a thing now, so. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Welcome back to Lady on the Street podcast. You guys, we're here with another episode. It's your weekly dose, if you will, and I'm going to get right into it. Today's guest is a lady who goes way back to my roots in the good old hometown of Floresville, baby. I tell you, San Antonio is the 7th most populated city in the U.S., but it sure doesn't feel like it sometimes. If you follow her on socials, she goes by Hair by a Blonde, but these days she's doing a whole lot more than just styling hair. Not only has she organized a Cut-a-Thon fundraising event to provide scholarships to students in the beauty industry, she's also branching out to a new space, the real estate industry.
Yep.
And it sure is a good time because it feels like San Antonio is just growing and booming in popularity these days. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one and only, and I mean it when I say it because I've never met another, Atalaya.
Yay.
Or Laya, like my son started calling you. How are you today? You good?
I'm good. Yep, I'm good. Really good. It's a good day. Nice weather. So.
I know. Well, thank you for coming in. I know you're super busy.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Good. I'm glad. Okay, so we start every episode off with like naming your signature cocktail, if you will, and tell me what we're drinking.
It's a little hypnotic with pineapple juice. You know, I'm an old school girl, so if you know, you know.
Well, now I know, so it's pretty good. Cheers. Feels like I should be on a beach or something with it.
It's funny because we had went to a fancy bar one time, and I went up to the bar and I was like, they're like, no, what do you want? And I said, do you have hypnotic with pineapple juice? And they were like, no, we don't do that here. No. And I was like, oh, I don't know what else to order. So they just made me a drink. I was like, sorry.
You're like, this is trash. Where's the hypnotic?
Yeah, where's my ratchet places?
I do love a good, like, in theory, I want to go to, like, the classy place, but when I'm there, I'm bored, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, where's the ratchet place? Like, I want the music that you can dance to.
Shake a little something.
Mm-hmm. They have hypnotic, you know? Like, they have Dos Equis, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, craft beer, gross.
Yeah.
Well, it is really delicious, and I'm like, I might be going to a ratchet place after this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can show you where.
Well, it truly feels like a small world. And briefly, I mentioned you grew up in Floresville, as did I, but you're a couple years older than me, maybe 1 or 2, I think. I'm 35.
How do you think I am?
Like 36, 37?
38.
38. Okay, yeah. I'm like, just a few years. You're 35 too. I only know that because
you know that I was in school like with your brother and stuff.
Yes, yeah. That's the only reason. But you look good, girl. Like I'm like, you're fit and fine, okay? And 3 kids, like, you know, I just got to give you the love because it's hard work, you know.
It is.
So I wanted to ask then, you're a big city girl now, right?
Yes.
But do you consider yourself kind of like a country girl at heart, or
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I love it. I'll always be a country girl.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What is something that, you know, people who may follow you might be surprised to know about you that they don't know already?
I don't know, 'cause I'm pretty open about my life. I try to share the good, the bad, the ups, the downs, just so people know that we all go through things. And, you know, I know social media can really share only the good. And I like to just be transparent. I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of people don't realize that I really did grow up in the country.
Yeah.
You know, with a dirt road, hay bales everywhere, like cows. I don't know. Like it really was like that.
Yeah, it's so funny because I'll tell people now, like, well, my sister, for instance, will say, like, you're so feminine and girly now as an adult, but as a kid, I was always sweaty with, like, literally playing with, like, cow shit because that's what we did out there, you know? Like, so gross. But I'd be, like, riding a tractor down, like, the main highway with my dad going to bale hay.
Yeah.
And it really was that, like, honky-tonk, you know?
Yeah. We would play in it and jump on them and...
It's like having fun, and the Sunday afternoon was like having bulls chase us out.
Yeah. Like cow tipping really was a thing.
I know. Like, PETA, don't come for us. But
Yeah. Sorry, we didn't know back then.
We didn't. But I do wonder, like, now, because Floresville itself has grown a lot, and so I wonder if that dynamic has changed with not just with the
Yeah.
growth of the city, but like social media is a thing now. Kids don't really go outside like we used to,
Mm-mm.
you know?
I think too because we have everything in our face. I feel like even for me, I'm more of like a helicopter mom now.
Yeah.
Like, and I think back when growing up, I mean, I used to walk to my friend's house by myself in the
Yes.
dark. I mean, we didn't have a phone.
Hmm.
When you were home alone, my house door was like super easy to open. I mean, anybody could have
Yeah.
came in. There was no neighbors. Like, but I think it's because we it's in our face every day of bad things happening, so it just creates like anxiety.
Yeah.
So we're scared to let our kids just be kind of free and on their own.
Hmm. I think so too. I remember literally like there was a corner of my parents' property where there was a fence, like a barbed wire type of
Hmm.
fence. But I would jump that fence and I would not come back home until like the square apartment street lights would come on.
Oh yeah,
You know?
same. We'd be out all night. Hmm.
Yeah, and like nobody would be calling, look like
Yeah,
you just went
like
home.
we would be in the woods,
I know.
playing in the woods, like
Seriously,
in
we
the
would
dark.
tell stories that there was like a homeless man in the back and we would like go look for him. What? Like I would never let my kids know.
Just run in the woods by
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So and you do mention this. My mom was over here the other day and she said something about like a fight that had happened and it was recorded on social media. It was a fight outside of Bar House.
Hmm.
And she was like she said things are so different these days. Like everybody just fights. It's so like ugly out there. You can't really go out and be safe. And I was like, I think it's always been like that, but you see it more now because of phones and social media
Yeah.
and things like that.
It is scary. I mean, we just lost a friend to road rage, and gun violence and Octavian, and that really hit us hard in our community, and you know, um, especially being so close to him. We grew up together, and it's just still shocking.
Yeah.
That like it is. It does seem more violent now in the world. Like people just go directly to like really wanting to hurt you.
Right.
And for what?
Yeah, there's
You
like
know?
no in between. It's like 0 to 100, you know?
Yes.
And that, I do think like that was obviously such a sad situation.
Mhm.
What I will say is that because I didn't know him personally, I just know through friends of friends and friends that
Mhm.
he was, I guess, pretty involved in his community, especially he was a barber
A
from my
barber.
understanding.
Mhm.
And so, and even my brother was like, I used to take his sons, he has four sons. He'd
Yeah.
be like, I used to take him to his shop. And so the community came out to kind of like mourn him
Mhm.
and celebrate his life, I'll say. But
Yes.
he had a big impact, you know?
Huge.
Yeah, a huge impact. And it's terrible. You're right, though. Like, people are just so quick to really like pull a trigger.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it just showed though like how we come from a small town. Even if you didn't know him, you knew him,
Mhm.
and to see the whole town come out for him, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like when one hurts, we all hurt.
Mhm.
So it was nice to see everybody come together and celebrate him. It sucks that it's over that, like that it's because of a loss,
Yeah.
but it was nice to see how much he really was loved.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all we can do is just leave it in God's hands and hopefully, justice is served.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, rest in peace, Octavian.
Yes.
And yeah, hopefully justice is served.
Yes.
Segue to another topic here because that, is
Yeah.
heavy. But you mentioned, so you obviously we're gonna get into the whole you're a hairstylist, you're a businesswoman, you're bossing it up, you know. But you said you're like a helicopter mom now. What is
Mhm.
mom life for you? What's it like?
I'm a girl mom, so it's definitely crazy.
Yeah.
My girls are each like 5 years apart. So I have a teenager, she's 13, she's about to be 14. I have an 8-year-old and a baby. She's 3. She's boss baby. But it's just such chaos because they're all so different. I mean, my oldest is so chill and mellow, and then my middle one, like she is just so sensitive and emotional and like takes everything to the heart. but she's so sweet. And then the baby is just like, I don't know where she came from. Like, she is like super sassy, super smart ass. Like it's just crazy how different they are. Um, but it's so awesome to see them like getting bigger and how
Yeah.
they interact. Sometimes even with them though, like my oldest, I'm like, girl, you are not like me. Like, how are you my kid? Like, she is just so different from me. Like, she's so mellow and chill and like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's weird.
No, my same. I think like I'm always comparing like what was I doing at 14 and I'm like I'm like I'm like, you know how I said we wouldn't come home till the streetlights when I
Yeah.
got older, that kind of continued, you know.
Yeah,
Like
that's how she's such a good girl. And everybody obviously says their kids are like so good, but I swear, like she's such a good girl. Like everyone, when they meet her, they're always like, she's so good, like she's so sweet, and this and that. And I'm like, she really is.
yeah.
Like, she's just, I don't know, just so great. She's very like careful and
Yeah.
doesn't like to do anything too crazy. And I'm
Mhm.
like, which I'm thankful for,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
just funny because I'm like, God, you're so opposite of me.
Same. Yeah, no, she went to the movies the other day and with her friends and she was like the movie's over and so my husband said like, "Okay, do y'all want to are y'all going to stay and hang out?" And she was like, "Hang out? What do you mean hang out? Like the movie's over."
I'm
and
like,
and
oh,
yeah.
we didn't even really go in the movie when we were going to the movies.
Yes. And so, okay, like the paranoid mom in me was like, "Send me a picture when the movie starts." You know? And I'm like, "What do I think she's even going to do?" Like she's such
Yeah,
a good girl,
yeah,
but I too am a helicopter mom.
yeah.
So,
It's
and
because we know what we did.
yeah. Exactly. Exactly. I'm like, "Oh, okay." So, no, that's good though. So 3 kids.
Hmm.
I imagine life is constantly busy.
Yes, because
I saw on your socials that you started doing hair 19 years ago.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah, it'll be 20 years next year.
that's amazing. What a great
Sheesh.
long-standing career, right? Like,
Yeah.
is that something that you always wanted to do, or like when you were
Yes.
little, what did you envision yourself doing?
Hair.
Hair?
Yeah, it's something I've always been into, always wanted to do. I started teaching myself how to do hair in high school, and I would do like my friend's hair for prom. I did my own hair for my quince. So I started very young, and then when I graduated high school, I started beauty school like that same week.
Yeah,
So that's why I was so young in the salon because I finished the next year and I got into the salon at 19.
really.
Hmm.
That's awesome though, because you also said in one of your posts that right now when people go through school, they really want to start their own business, right?
Yes.
But you mentioned that working in a salon amongst peers was so valuable and like it's
Hmm.
something that you can't get when you try to go just on your own right away.
Hmm.
What was that experience and did you start automatically in San Antonio or were you elsewhere before?
I started in San Antonio.
Yeah.
I went to school at the Aveda Institute.
Hmm.
So back then it was in the Pearl. So it was
Hmm.
like brand new. Like no one, there was one class ahead of me and it had just opened.
Fancy.
Um, it's just because I knew that this was going to be my career path, and I wasn't going to go to college, so I wanted to pick a really good school, not because it had like better education, but I knew that the name alone would help open more doors for me,
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
so I ended up working at a salon that actually was the owner of the school.
Oh, okay.
So it was KHRO's, it was in Alamo Heights.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it was just such a different world for me because I don't come from that. I mean, I just knew I didn't want to be. I mean, no shade to like the little salons that charge a little bit, but I knew I didn't want to be like in the mall. I didn't want
Right.
to be in a chain
Hmm.
salon. So I chose that one because they had like an apprenticeship, and it was high end, but it was crazy because I mean, first of all, I'm just like this ghetto drawn in eyebrow girl. And I'm like, what am I doing here? I don't even like blend in here,
Oh.
But I just knew like this is what I want. Like I want to be like them. Like I want
Yeah.
to be like these women who this is their career and they make a good living off of it. So
Hmm.
I mean, it was crazy, but I definitely owe my talent and just my life skills
Yeah.
to the women that trained me because I didn't even know what sushi was.
Yeah.
I had never heard of that. I didn't know what Central Market was.
I thought
You
for
know,
a minute sushi. I was like, is that a like a hair term? No, like sushi, sushi.
like sushi. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't, girl. I had never heard that. I was like,
Yeah.
what is that?
Yeah.
So it
Central
really
Market.
forced me to be worldly, like
Yeah.
read the newspaper, get more educated so that I can
Yeah.
speak to these clients,
Yes.
because I was young, because I was brown, because I looked different, I had to be extra professional and work extra hard for them to like to prove myself to these clients.
Yeah.
So it was tough, but I mean I loved it. It really molded me,
Yeah.
and opened up my eyes.
I really love that. It sounds a little bit like kind of like alternative education,
Mhm.
surrounding yourself with people that you aspire to be like. And they always say like you want to put yourself in rooms of people that you want to personify, right? Versus
Yes.
like if you stay in a room of like-minded people, you won't grow.
Mhm.
That's amazing though, and I'm so happy to hear that somebody took that chance on you,
Yep.
helped invest because it's an investment. They invested in you,
Mhm.
and you got those experiences. Because Alamo Heights is like a whole nother world
Yeah.
for some girls from Floresville.
Yeah.
Like I get that for
It
sure.
was crazy.
Yeah. Um, my uncle was a hairdresser
Mhm.
when like all his life, right? Oh, he did nails, but him and his partner have been in that industry for a very long time.
Mhm.
I feel like there's always been kind of like a bouginess that comes with certain. I call them like a boutique hair salon, because they're not
Yes.
chains.
Yeah.
And so he would always be in these different atmospheres. So I would see that
Mhm.
and see like, oh, people live such different lives. And I tell him like he used to host Christmas, and I've always told him I credit him for opening my eyes to what charcuterie is, because like
Yeah.
every Christmas he would have his little spread of like crudité and stuff, and I didn't know what it was. I was just like, ooh, ham and cheese
Yeah.
and all the things, like. And I'm like, you know
Yes.
what? That was my first taste, and I've been obsessed ever since. So,
Yep.
but going back to, so you started apprenticing.
Mhm.
Apprenticing, is that how you say that?
Yeah, like assisting.
Assisting, yeah.
Mhm.
So now I've seen some of the things that, like, I've never been to your salon, but I saw one of your things that you were like, I love to offer this to my clients, like a DoorDash service.
Mhm.
You seem like you're running like such a high-end, upscale, really amazing place to be at. What is that like full circle moment for you been like?
It's been great. So I am in a suite by myself. But that goes back, like I said, I feel like putting myself in a place that was out of my comfort zone and really seeing how they focused on customer service, customer experience that really molded me. And now on my own, that's what I focus on because there's a ton of good hairstylists in the city. I
Hmm.
mean, and we're all in the same vicinity of each other. But people, especially nowadays, they're more careful where they spend their money. And, I've always told people like you can be an amazing stylist and like your work is like top tier. But if you don't provide customer service, people won't go to you. Or you can be not so good at hair, but you're amazing at the experience at customer service, and people will stick with you because
Mm-hmm.
of the way you treat them.
Yeah.
So I like for people to feel like they're at home when they're in my suite. And some people are there a long time. I mean,
Yeah.
because we're doing like big color corrections,
Yeah.
it can take like 7 to like 10 hours.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna feed you because I feel like that's what I would want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I get hungry and then people get like nervous to ask, and
Yeah.
so I just provide it so that it's just a little extra step
Yeah.
that makes a big difference. I mean, it's something so small, but it makes their whole day.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking of them.
So sweet. I mean, it really does make a big difference. And I will say that that's not something out of character for you, like giving to your customer, giving back to the community.
Mhm.
Talk to me a little bit about this Cut-a-Thon by a Blonde. Where did that idea come from? And what, you're 5, 6 years into it
This
now?
was my sixth one.
And it just
It just
happened,
ended. Yep.
right? I'm
Mhm.
like, damn, I got you in like what,
Yep.
2 weeks too late, I guess, but it's okay.
No, it's
There's
okay.
another
It's
one.
okay. Yeah. Every year. It started in 2019. I had done, cut-a-thons have been around for a long time, and we used to do them when I was in the salon to raise money for different organizations. Um, but one year I was just like, I want to give back to a student in school or someone trying to go to school that is kind of in that middle ground. Like when I was a single mom, I worked 3 jobs, and but I was, struggling. My car was going to get repoed. I really couldn't pay my rent still. Um, so I tried to apply for assistance, like food stamps, all that, and I couldn't get approved because I was making $50 over the limit.
Yeah.
And I
Mhm.
just thought like, but I'm still struggling.
Yeah.
But you rather me quit one of my jobs to get help, but then I'm really gonna struggle. Like, I don't know, it was just so frustrating.
Yeah.
And I felt like there's people out there like that who are in that middle ground where they probably don't qualify for financial aid, but they also maybe don't have the credit for a traditional loan, or they can't afford to have a payment,
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
they're paying school out of pocket on a payment plan, but they're trying to work, and now they're kind of stuck like, well, I need to work to pay for school, but I'm gonna have to quit to work.
Yeah. Mhm.
So that's what I did it for that first year. I was like, I want someone like that who's trying, but it's just like the odds are against them, and they feel like they're gonna have to give it up, but they really don't want to.
Yeah.
So the first year I did it, it was just super small. I didn't think anything of it. I thought that would be my only one. I thought, well, I'll do it, and then it's like whatever. It was just a thing. But then the year after, everyone was like, "Are you gonna do it again? And are you gonna do it again?" And I was like, "Well, I wasn't thinking about it, but I guess so, you
Yeah.
know." And it like doubled in size the second year.
Yeah.
So it just started just kind of growing from there, and people wanting to pitch in and help. And we've given over $10,000 in scholarships the last 5 years, which I'm sure to some people it doesn't seem like a lot, but the thing is like we do this in one day.
Yeah.
It's still very small, like it hasn't
It's
it's
grassroots. Yeah.
yes, exactly. But I'm hoping that this year I can fund the money to make it an actual nonprofit, like a
Mhm.
501c3, because then I will be able to get big sponsorships
Yeah.
and hopefully pay someone's full tuition
Yeah.
or more than one person. Because when we
Yeah.
get those essays in, it's like, oh, you want to give it to everybody, but we don't get as enough to do that.
Mhm.
Because beauty school and barber school is expensive now.
Yeah.
So, but for me, it just really stems from no one can take this away from you. Like, no one
Mhm.
can take my license from me. It's literally gotten me out of the trenches.
Yeah.
I can do it anywhere. I can do nails. I can do skin if I really have to. Like, and no one can ever take that from me.
Yeah.
And you can build an empire from it. I mean,
Mhm.
people do it every day now. I mean, it's so different, the beauty industry, than it was when I first came in 20 years ago. Being a hairstylist wasn't glam. It wasn't looked at as an elite industry. It was more like, oh, you couldn't go to college, like you're just a hairdresser, like
Yeah.
you're dumb,
Yeah.
like you probably
Mhm.
don't make no money. It was looked at very like down,
Yeah.
and it's just grown so much where like it's so elite, and it's such a an amazing industry now that I mean people are building, being able to take care of themselves their whole life with it.
Yeah.
So
I do think too, like two things here. Since you've started, I feel like the hairdresser, esthetician, nail tech, or nail artist, I should say, those were all very much separate.
mhm,
Like everybody did their own. You picked one and you stayed in that lane. Where I don't see that as much anymore. Like you said, when you go to beauty school, you're getting trained for an array of it.
mhm,
And I know some girls that do all of it.
yep,
It's crazy. And I'm like, you really are building an empire. So you go to this one person for all of those services. Um, and the second thing that I'll say is, I get what you're saying is that before, and I struggled with this, and I've said this on one of these episodes before, is like in Floresville growing up, I was surrounded with people who knew exactly what they wanted to do for
mhm,
school. All of the girls that I was in like elementary school with would say they want to be registered nurses, RNs,
yeah.
and I was like, fuck is an RN? Like, what
Yeah.
the fuck is an RN? And it's like, not even if I went home and asked my mom, like, what's an RN? She probably didn't know either.
Mhm.
So I always felt when I got to high school, because I moved to San Antonio, and it was a different crowd. So when I moved here, I was always stuck on like, why don't I want to be an RN, right? Why
Yeah.
don't I know that I want to go to school to be like
In the
this?
medical field.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's all that I ever heard people saying. So I get where you're coming from when you say like the beauty industry was kind of frowned upon in that
Mm-hmm.
aspect. But I will say that like in the world that we live in now, there are so many different content creators and people who like no longer is it just the days where models are on magazines.
Yeah.
You know, people are modeling for companies everywhere, and because of that, they need those services
Mm-hmm.
more frequently, right? It's not just like the upkeep of your hair. It's like you have people have shoots and people have an image to keep up. So I
Yeah.
think that's helped your industry in a way. Would
Mm-hmm.
you agree with that?
Yes, for sure. Especially like you said with content creation,
Yeah.
people need their hair done for their content, makeup, nails,
Hmm.
um, just in every aspect it's needed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're also just a little bit bougier. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
modeling for anything, but I want to look good, okay?
Yes, yeah, yes.
What's your favorite thing about being in your industry?
Honestly, I just really love the moments where you're doing a client and you just see their face light up and how beautiful they feel just by you putting some color in their hair.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, because I mean, as women, we know how that can feel sometimes when you're like in a funk and you don't feel pretty. And, you know, we're also therapists.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So we hear their struggles, what they're going through, so when you get to make their day just by doing their hair, it really does make you realize, like, I do more than just hair, like you
Yeah.
literally change someone's feelings about
Yes.
themselves, I
Yeah.
mean, we have people cry sometimes in our chair when they see themselves, and it, you think like, why are you crying? Like, I just put some highlights in there, but it's not just about that. It's about like they feel pretty for the
Yeah.
first time in a long time, and you help them achieve that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's something that comes so easily to some women, right? Like they are born with great hair or whatever.
Mhm.
But for others, I have even just in my personal life where I've like said, because my mom has always been the type to get dolled up.
Mhm.
And so like it's instilled in me that like if you're going somewhere, you get dressed up, you do your hair, you put some makeup on, you know?
Yeah.
But I remember once I said this in front of somebody who was complete opposite of that. And I was like, I'm going to sound like a bitch, but I was like, oh, I don't understand, you know, when women say like, oh, I just don't have time
Mhm.
to like to take the time to do things for myself. Like, and I'm
Mm.
like, that to me, that you're not making the time. You're
Mhm.
not finding the time. Like, you don't care about it that much. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But a lady that I was working with was like, well, I just don't know how, you know? She
Yeah.
was like, it's not that no one taught me and I don't know how. And I was like, oh.
You said, "Oops."
I know.
No, but it was like a learning moment for
Yeah.
you.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like, wow, that sometimes that is really true.
Yeah.
Like maybe they didn't grow up with a mom or
Mhm.
someone that showed them.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was like, Priscilla, keep your opinions to yourself. I was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize. Like, I take it back.
It's okay. I'm the same. I say what I'm thinking, and some people love it, some people hate it, and oh well.
Yeah, you got to be okay with not everybody's gonna
You're
like you,
always
right?
gonna be. I'm always gonna be real
Yeah.
and be myself.
Mhm.
So it's okay if you don't like me.
Yeah, I know. I'm
I,
like,
I I'll, you're not gonna hurt my feelings.
yeah,
I'll keep it
exactly.
moving.
But no, so it is nice though that you guys are able to in your industry give that to just us normies over here, you know? Like I'm telling you, I am reaching the point where I'm getting like grays
Uh-huh.
and I would get like one every couple months and I used to pull it and I know they say not to do it, but I couldn't help myself.
Yeah.
And now there's like too many where I'm like, how often am I supposed to be doing my hair because this is horseshit.
I mean, honestly, you can't even see them, but like that's why I stay blonde.
Yeah, yeah.
You'll never know.
No, it
That's a
looks
secret
so
to
good
be
on
blonde.
you to be blonde. I know. I was blonde once, years ago
Did you
after
have
my
more
first
fun?
daughter. Did I what?
Did you have more fun?
I know, right? I actually maybe was a little bit more wild then. I was a shot girl at Kremlin.
Yeah.
If you know,
Oh,
you know.
oh, yep. I remember Kremlin. Oh man, I used to love Kremlin.
I know. I'd be drinking this stuff basically. It kind
Yep. Hell yeah.
Goldschlager too, but yeah, no, but I was like so blonde that I like burnt all of it off. It
Oh,
was terrible. It was
yeah.
not pretty like that. It was like bleach blonde, and I was like addicted to it. I'd be like, it's yellow. I want it like more white, you know? Because there's like they say like there's like a thing when you're blonde, like you never see
What it look?
what it looks like, you
Yeah,
know?
like it'll be white, and you're like, they're still
Yeah.
yellow. Yeah.
And my uncle, who has always done my hair, would be
Yeah.
like, I'm not doing that for you. So I was doing it on my own. Hence why it all broke off. If I could show you a picture, oh my God, it's terrible.
That was a style back then, though, to
Yeah.
have like, you know, fried hair and to the side.
Yeah, it was fried to the side,
Yeah.
and
We all had it like that.
yeah, it
I had
was
it like that
okay.
too. Yeah.
It was in style.
Yeah.
This is the glow up version, right?
Yeah.
You know better now.
Yes.
No, but what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought for a minute. You keep it real on
Mhm.
socials.
Yes.
You wrote on one of your posts, don't let social media and other paths get you discouraged from where you are in life. Our paths are different, and remember, people only show the good on these apps. What do you want people to, I guess, take away from your content when they're looking through your page?
Just that basically like we all go through things like we're all not where we feel like we want to be because I'm even guilty of that.
Yeah.
As a 38-year-old woman, I'll sit there and look at people like for instance, I've been doing this 20 years.
Mhm.
I don't own a salon. I
Mhm.
don't rent out suites. And sometimes that can be hard for me to think like, damn, like I've been doing this so long. Why can't I have that? Like, why can't I afford that?
Yeah.
There's people that do it a year and they're already like opening a whole business, a whole salon. I'm like, dang girl, like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
I'm still pinching pennies,
Yeah.
but we don't know what people have or what they go through. Like maybe they have someone that helps them. They
Yes.
have a trust fund or
Mhm.
they were able to get a business loan or they have a husband who pays all the bills so all their money goes to their business.
Yeah.
For me, I do everything like I don't have loans. I don't have people like that can just give me a ton of money and open
Yeah.
my own thing. So I feel like because social media shows so much good, we always are comparing ourselves and looking at where we're lacking and what we don't have instead of taking a step back and looking at what we have accomplished.
Yeah.
I have to remember I've started over like 4 times.
Mhm.
So it's not like I've been 20 years straight in the same city in the same salon or whatever.
Yeah.
I had to start over a couple of times. So yeah, I'm gonna be a little behind, but that's okay. Um, that's why I try to show that I'm just like you. Like, yeah, sometimes I have a Gucci purse, but girl, I got my Gucci purse with affirmed payments. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't buy it straight out. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't have money like that.
Mhm.
But when I was just kind of scrolling, window shopping, and I saw the affirm sign on the website, I said, "What?"
Say less.
Okay.
Sign me up.
Yeah, like I don't make a ton of money. I am a business owner, but a lot goes into it. I pay a lot of bills.
Mhm.
So I just want people to always know, like, yes, there's a ton of people out here that make it seem so easy or like not to be like I'm definitely on my own spiritual journey, but I feel like a lot of people are just like, oh, just like pray to God and it'll happen for you. And to be real, I mean, no,
Yeah.
like yes, keep your faith so that you can have the strength to keep going and not give up when times are hard. But you need to also work for it,
Yeah, it's
and
not that
it's
easy.
not like
Yeah.
it just was handed to you from doing
Right.
that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
People can take offense to that, but it's the truth. Like,
I think so
uh,
too, and I feel like there's kind of like a faith culture on social media
hmm
where you're right, like they're like pray and it'll happen, and it's
yeah.
like I've been praying,
Me
like
too
you
for
know,
25 years.
yeah, yeah,
Like, okay, I'm tired of being your strong soldier. Can you give me an easy way now? I've learned.
yes. Oh my God. No, you're right though, and I, speaking just for myself, and I'm sure plenty of other people, I love that you're keeping it real and sharing that honesty. and the fact that you've had to start over a couple of
Mhm.
times. I like seeing the highs and the lows.
Mhm.
And I think that even when people are sharing the person who started their business and opened it up within a year, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes, and maybe this is wrong, but like I feel like I'm always like, okay, is this a facade? You know,
Yeah.
like what's real?
Like, are
What's
you
real and
in
what's
debt to your eyeballs? And
yeah, mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know.
And I wish that more people would share that stuff so that you can help other people grow along the way if they're thinking
Yeah.
about making that jump.
Like,
Um,
it's okay if it doesn't work out the first 5 years, 10 years.
yes.
Like, just keep going because it will. I mean,
Hmm.
and as I know it's easier said than done to not compare yourself, but we do. I mean, we do with our bodies. I mean, I got
Yes.
on the shot because I wanted to lose weight because I saw everybody losing weight. I mean, yeah,
Ooh.
like it's like we do compare
I
ourselves.
would have never even thought.
Yeah, girl,
Like,
I lost 40 pounds.
really?
Yeah, but it's because I had gained a lot of weight after my third baby.
Yeah.
I just blew up. I don't know. It was crazy. I had never been that size, and I was like, I'm so tired. I don't want to work out. And I kept seeing like, oh, the shot, and I was like, I'm gonna try that. And I am not ashamed to say I was on it. Like,
Yeah.
I lost weight. It helped me. But that's what I'm saying. Like, people will really like smoke and mirror you on
Yes.
Instagram and Facebook, and it's like, just be honest. Like, girl, you are not in the gym and you got that body. You went and got a my makeover.
That's a
Like,
BBL.
yeah, like come on now. It's okay to say it so
Yeah.
that because then we're over here thinking like, why isn't it working for
Listen,
me?
I've been trying to grow this ass for years. And I'm like, why is it not? I prayed and it's
Yeah.
not coming.
Like, I mean, and that's why I will always be honest. Like, people, even when I travel, I'm like, girl, look, I do everything in payments. I'm the payment plan queen, okay? Like, I do not pay for these trips out of pocket. I do not have thousands of dollars. Like,
Hmm.
I literally go on Priceline and they have an affirm section,
Yeah, yeah,
and I just bundle it together and I pay in payments,
yeah.
you know?
That's really cool though to say out loud. I
Mhm.
think that people that I know in my life don't travel that often, right?
Mhm.
And it's because it's expensive, and typically
Yeah.
people are paying, all at once. You pay up front
Mhm.
and you wait for however long for it to come.
Yeah.
Um, we had our first big family trip this last summer. We went to Hawaii to Maui, and for a family of five, it's pretty expensive.
Mhm.
I'm like, where was Affirm when I was doing that? I didn't even
I
realize you
know.
could do that.
You can.
You can.
I have many affirms
Yeah.
out.
I know it can be dangerous, right? If you
It
have too
can.
many at once,
Yeah,
but
then
I
it
mean,
defeats the purpose, but it's okay. It still feels like smaller payments.
yeah. One
Yeah,
here, one
but
here, one here.
yeah, but that's just the thing. Like, I'm always going to be honest. Even doing this 20 years, I'm still learning the business. I didn't come from a business background.
Yeah.
I've had many mistakes, trying to figure it out. I even just last year, I barely finally got my LLC. Like,
Yeah.
it's okay. Like, and I have to give myself grace and stop looking at what I didn't accomplish yet and look at what I have
Yes.
accomplished.
Yeah.
Like, I had to file a bankruptcy when I got divorced. I had a repo. Like, it was chaotic. I never thought I would ever like get out of that, but I was able to buy a home
Yeah.
and, provide my girls a better life. Doesn't mean we don't struggle. I mean, there's times even to this day, I've even showed screenshots of my bank account before. Like, there's times that my account still goes negative. Like, and
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed to say that because we just have so many things like when you're in business that you have to pay and do that you sometimes don't account for, especially when you
Hmm.
don't understand money and business. And I'm still learning,
Yeah.
and then especially now transitioning with also with real estate, I'm cutting back in the hair industry. So that was a big like, ooh,
Yeah.
so it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, one day it'll all work out.
Well, and I was gonna ask too. So, almost 20 years in the beauty industry. Why now have you decided to branch out to real estate? All right, that does it for part one of Lady on the Street podcast. Make sure you tune in next week for part two. And don't forget to follow me on social media at Lady on the Street podcast. You can find me on all of the major platforms. And of course, if you're here on YouTube, make sure you like, rate, and subscribe. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next week.